Okay, so we are going to be doing area of a parallelogram for 532. And before we actually get started with these notes, I am going to play a YouTube video that kind of gives a good way of just introducing area of a parallelogram. So just watch this real quick and then we'll actually get into the notes.
Finding the area of a parallelogram. This is a parallelogram, so is this. A parallelogram is a quadrilateral with both pairs of opposite sides parallel. It looks a bit like a rectangle that's been nudged over. How can we find the area of a parallelogram? Well, don't be put off by the sloping sides, because here's a way of thinking that's going to help you. If I cut a triangle off this side and move it over to this side, we get a form that is so much easier to work with. I didn't take anything away, the entire area of the shape is still there. I just rearranged it to form a rectangle. And you know how to find the area of a rectangle, length times width. But for a parallelogram, we say the area is base times height. When we have to find the area of a parallelogram, we think of it like a rectangle, like I just showed you. A rectangle has right-angled corners, so we have to form a right angle. We find the base, here it's 8 centimetres, and then we run a perpendicular line off the base to get the height. The height forms a right angle with the base, just like the right-angled corners of a rectangle. That is a key point to remember. So here's our height, it's 4 centimetres. Now we have measurements on two sides that meet at a right angle, so we're ready to go. The area of a parallelogram is base times height. So 8 times 4 is 32 centimetres squared. Never forget units of measurement squared. What about this parallelogram? Here's the base, 6 metres. Here's the height, 9 metres. It doesn't matter where the height line is shown. It's always the same height because these two lines are parallel, the same distance apart. Therefore, the height will be the same. The height is at right angles to the base, and that's all that counts. So, base times height. 6 times 9 is 54 metres squared. What if the parallelogram looks like this? This time, the base measurement is on the side, and the height seems to be going horizontally. What's up with that? Guess what? It doesn't matter. As long as you are forming a right angle with the base and a height, you're good to go. This is the same as this. It's just an image that has been rotated. Don't let it stump you. Okay, so our base measures 5 centimetres and our height is 3 centimetres. Area is base times height, so 5 times 3 is 15 centimetres squared. Right, now
Okay, so I like that video because it shows you where we got our formula from. Really, a parallelogram is just a rectangle. We just sliced off a piece and put it on the other side. So it's the same amount of formula. We just rearranged the pieces. So that is why we use the same formula that we would for a rectangle or a square is base times height. Okay, so let's get into our practice. So it says two lines in a plane are parallel if they never meet, no matter how far apart they extend. So parallel lines, okay? If we took these and stretched these out, these would never touch or cross or meet, okay? They go on forever and they never touch. The distance between two parallel lines or segments is the length of a line segment that is perpendicular. Okay, so a perpendicular line, okay, It is an up and down line and a side by side to side line. When they meet, they form a right angle. And that is what we call perpendicular lines. When they meet or when they cross, they create a right angle. So those are called perpendicular. Your height on a parallelogram will always be perpendicular to your bases. So a parallelogram is a quadrilateral or a four-sided figure with two pairs of parallel lines. Any side of the parallelogram can be used as a base. The height is perpendicular to one of the pairs of bases. So if you look over at this picture right here, okay, your height will always be associated with your right angle. It is never going to be your slant, okay? It is always going to be where your right angle is. And it's always going to be in between your two bases. So you can always figure out which number is the base by which line is my height connecting. Okay, so your height is always your right angle, and it's always touching one of your bases. Sometimes they'll show you your height on the outside of the shape like this, but so don't let that stump you. It's still just always associated with your right angle. So right here is just kind of a breakdown. Here's the labeling, and then here is your formula. So let's actually use it. And when we saw this, we're going to do a three-step process. We're going to write our formula, we're going to plug it in, and then we're going to solve. So for this one, we write our formula, which is area is equal to base times our height. So our base is right here, is our 8, and our height is this 4. Okay, remember, it's what makes a right angle and it connects the bases. Don't let that extra 7 get to you. So area is equal to 32, and I have to label, centimeters squared. Please remember that area is always squared units. So this extra 7, they just kind of put there to throw in another number and see if you know what numbers you're supposed to work with. So don't let it trip you up. Go ahead, flip the page and try the second one. Okay, for this one, we write our formula. So area is equal to base times height. Our base is 15, and our height is 6. So when we multiply this out, our area is 90. And if you notice, they didn't give us a unit of measurement. So when they don't give us one, we can't make one up for it. We use units squared. This last question we're going to do is, says a billboard was in the shape of a parallelogram and has a base of 30 feet and a height of 14 feet. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw out this billboard. And it says it has a base of 30 feet and a height, so I'm going to drop down a line straight down with our right angle of 14 feet. So now I drew my information. Bobby Joe and Billie Jean want to rent the space to advertise their Slap Yo Granny's hot sauce. It costs $3.25 per square foot. How much would it cost to rent the billboard? So, first thing we need to do is figure out, well, how much square footage do we have? So to do that, we need to find the area of our billboard. So we're doing area is equal to base times height, and then we plug it in. Our area is equal to our base, which is 30, and our height, which is 14. 30 times 14 is 420, and then we have feet squared. Okay, but that didn't answer our question. Our question asked us, how much does it cost per square foot? Well, it costs $3.25 per square foot, and we have 420 of them. So the last step is we're going to need to take how much square footage we have and multiply it by how much it costs each. So when you multiply those, you get 1,365. Okay, and that is how you find the area of a parallelogram.